I hope you will forgive me for dubbing in the coffee cup clunk. We are a little bit precarious here. And yeah, and also I hope you'll forgive me for the fact that the background might be a little bit fuzzy. The reason for that is because I am focused about as close as I can get so that you can see what we did here yesterday nice and sharp. We have a rather extensive rollback which shows how we got to this place. We had some interesting stuff happen. We had a nice sunrise this morning too, didn't we? At least I thought it was nice. Okay, let's roll back and get to how we got to right here. Well, I'm going to try something a little bit different here this afternoon. And this may or may not work. Now, if you remember, we left off yesterday's episode with I was going to try and bend this up, and I said I don't think I can do it on camera. And then I was trying to think of how can I hold this piece, and I realized that if I'm going to be doing it with the photo etch plier like this, I might be able to do it on camera. Very, very carefully here. Just trying to get it so that the plier is probably okay. Yeah, it's sort of, maybe it should go just a little bit more. Okay, now if I squeeze it really tight, it should clamp onto the flat part, and only this top part will bend. Does that look like it's? Does it look like that's what's happening? It sort of does. I want to get it so that it's at right angles. I think that's pretty much 90 degrees. All right. Now when I release, no, do you know what? It looks like it looks like it bent this one. Now, how do I turn that down? Whoops. Ron. Oh, kind of got it crooked here. Okay, I'm going to have to take it off camera here and just see what I can do. I knew this was going to give me a problem. Okay, I think this one's going to go better. This is how I'm going to do it. I hope I'm not holding this out of focus for you. Okay. I think that one went better. Let's take it out of the plier and see what we got. I will put the macro lens on in a minute here. Okay, now we have to fasten these two things together here. solder would be ideal, but I don't think I dare solder that close to the plastic. I think we're going to do the CA thing, and yeah, it's I'm going to have to realign these just slightly here. I think it is doable. I wonder how many of these Rodney and Nelson kits have been put together with this antenna system missing. I'll bet you there's a few. Now that is the idea, but it's not quite straight. This top one should be about 5 degrees more horizontal than it is, so that it would be parallel with this bottom one here. But that's the idea. I'm thinking that, I'm wondering at this point, would it be best off to level this thing out and get it the way it's supposed to go, so that the two antennas are parallel to each other in every way, and then try and manipulate these ends so that they touch. I'm thinking that, you know, if I could have it like, sometimes it's easier to just use your finger. Sometimes it is. Yeah, except that my finger covers it up and I can't see. So if I could glue it so that it was level like this. Oh, come on. It keeps wanting to turn on me. Or maybe if I got a little bit of CA medium on there, it would be a little bit more sticky and it would sort of stay in place. Or maybe what I should do, so I'll take this off, whoops, very carefully, come on, very carefully, and just sort of bend it just a little bit in like this. Now when I hook this over, is it going to be a little bit flatter on the top? Yes, yes. That's almost the way it's supposed to go. Okay, this is the CA extra thin quick setting. My plan is to just let it drop on there. I'm not going to touch it. Just let it drop. Okay. Now don't anybody breathe. Okay, probably about 5 minutes has passed here. I've got one of Gabe's absorbent thingies, and I'm just going to see if I can very carefully just wick that away, because I think it's still there. Alright, I think it'll probably dry where, not dry, but cure where it counts a lot faster now. There's just too much on there. Okay, now is this joint that we just did, is it glued? I think it is. Yeah. Alright, let's turn this on its side now, so that this part here is going to be horizontal. And then see if we can't just sort of wick some of that extra thin in there. I don't know if I need to try and straighten these anymore or not. See, I'm afraid if I try to straighten it, I'm going to break this joint loose. Maybe what I should be doing is turning this over and taking some CA medium and putting it on the bottom here. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Now that may have already been strong enough, but I think once that dries, get rid of some of the excess anyway. Oh, all of a sudden the plunger let go. Well, okay, I'm pretty sure some of it got on there. Okay, this is done. About as done as I can do it anyway. Now, before we can do anything else with this, we have to finish up this piece. I want to be careful how I grab this so that I don't break this ladder off, but we have to put a railing around this platform, and then you can see the little hole there. I believe that hole is where the mast that we just made plugs in, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, let's get at that and see what we can do yet this afternoon. Now here's something on railing that I've never noticed before. You notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 posts. But this post and this post look a little thicker. And I notice when I look really close, it appears that there's folding lines, like we're supposed to fold the post in half lengthways. I'll put the macro lens on. Now, before we slip on the macro lens, I thought I may as well check my comments and see if anybody said anything about the latest video. And sure enough, did you fill the bird feeder? Yep, I filled it about 3 hours ago as I'm speaking here now. Thanks for asking, Mark. Okay, I'm moved in here about as close as I can get without putting on the macro lens. But that is definitely a folding line, and so is that. Now I don't want to go sticking the knife into it, because if I do, it's not going to want to come out of there. So that means that these have to be folded this way. Now, is it going to fold at the line, or is it going to have a tendency to fold, on either side of the line? I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's swing it around and get it underneath the breaker bar and see what we can do here. I'm just going to have to recompose here. I like to stick my fingers in it every once in a while just to give perspective. Okay, so we'll do this one first. And sometimes I like to stick my fingers in it because I can manipulate something a lot better than I can with a hobby knife. Okay. I'm wondering if maybe I've got it too far out. And it's going to bend in the wrong place. It's going to bend on that back rail. Okay, I moved it in a little bit. Don't know if I got it straight though. Well, if it doesn't bend in the right place, it's not quite right there. Well, whatever has happened has happened. You know what? I think it may have bent in the right place. I think it may have bent one on each side of that post. We'll know when you can probably tell. I can't. You can. Well, you're sick of hearing me say you can see it better than I can. I wanted. Oh, I see what's happening. It's running into the pin. It's running into the pin from that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to come on the other side of it here, and I will have to reposition. I'll reposition. Now everything should still be the same distance away from the lens as it was. All right, here we go. Yes, it did. It looks like it bent where it was supposed to. No, I would have never thought it. This is the first time I've actually come against railing like this. Okay, enough poking at it. Let's see if we can get it glued on the platform. Alright. I think it's positioned so we can both see all the angles at the same time. And this is my first try on this. Is it going to fit on the inside of that platform? I hope it does. I want it to just rest on the platform. Makes it a lot easier to glue. I can then use the holder downer. Let's get this out of the way. No disrespect, Andy. Just want to get it out of the way. Okay, how's that look over there? Now, let's put the macro lens on. Now, what I want to try to do here is set the holder downer down on the railing without knocking the ladder off. It's not quite at the right angle. I gotta move the far end of the holder downer out. And the plan is, we've got to come in just a bit. Okay, the plan is just to adhere this corner, and I know that the work goes around the back. There. Is it? I know where it goes around. It goes around the back there. It's, you know, it's in. But I think we can probably bend that out afterwards. We'll just adhere this side here. Oh, I kind of shoved it in, didn't I? Now, why is it that this glue does not seem to be wicking along like I remember? It is just... I'm going to try it again. There. It did that time. Sort of flooded the whole platform, didn't it? Well, as long as it doesn't fill the hole. Okay, it is actually starting to glue because it won't move. Okay, we should be able to bend that out after. Well, let's just wait a while. What time we got here? 2 minutes to 8. You know what? Let's just leave it overnight. We'll see you in the morning. Okay, it is morning. And if you will recall, we were going to try and bend this railing out about 1 millimeter in hopes that the CA glue that we put along here is going to hold. And I think it will. Maybe I should put the macro lens on. I'm hoping that the CA did not adhere that rail to the platform where we have to bend it out. If it did, we can probably break it loose there without accidentally breaking it loose along here. At least that's the plan. Let's get the macro lens on. Okay, now will this little screwdriver go back in there? Or is it too wide? No, it's working. And maybe I've got it too much. I'm going to have to use the holder downer here to hold it down against the deck. So I'm going to have to reposition. Okay, I've got my holder downer set up very similar to the way it was before. And I'm hoping that this is going to be enough pressure to hold it down. Does it look like it's going any further down? No, I think that's about it. Now once again with the extra thin quick setting. Oh, I've concluded that I know why it is that this stuff is beading on the photo etch instead of absorbing onto it. And it's because I didn't clean off the photo etch. Okay, we got it. It's I don't think we can improve along that edge there. Let's just let that cure. Maybe I'll put a little bit of curing agent on it. Okay. This time I gotta be careful not to. That's probably all it's going to take. It should slowly creep its way through. I would think it's probably safe to take the holder down or off at this point. Okay, I realize that it looks really, really wet in there, and it could be a little bit wet still. But once we spray that with the flat gray, I think we're going to use the 66 on this, we are not going to see the fact that the that this has got CA glue slathered all over the deck. It'll be completely, even with the macro lens, you won't be able to see it. Okay. Back when we were making this part right here, and we were putting this little room or whatever it is, I wonder what was really in there. It's obviously there's a ladder goes up, and you can see where they would come off the ladder onto the, on the inside of the railing there, and you'd walk around, and there was a little door on the inside here. Anyway, they had wanted us to put these two pieces on at that time, and we didn't. We soldered this one up. It's ready to go. And this one here is the one that I thought that possibly I had nipped the peg off of the bottom of it where it has to go into this hole right here. We'll recompose. I think we'll probably try to put this one on first. And we got to get, well, let's get the macro lens on, because there's no way you can see the 4 little holes that are drilled in that piece of photo etch there. I can see them, but anyway, enough talk. Where's the macro lens? Okay, here we go. Okay, it's going to be a little bit awkward maybe to work at everything that's going to be around the back, you might say. Although I suppose I could always turn this thing around. I was thinking maybe taking it out of the tweezer and twisting it around, but maybe I could go like this as well. That would sort of be the same thing. Yeah, that'll probably work. I know I did not put the macro lens on yet, did I? Okay. Let's get our macro lens on here. Hey. There we go. Must have something sticky on there. Better wipe that off. How close are we going to be to having these little legs line up with those little holes? I'm afraid I have to put my finger in your way here. I can almost get it, but not quite. I got 3 of the legs in. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this one is also in. I'm just trying to get this other one down in there. Just maybe I come in more of an angle. Oops. There. Okay, they're in. I think they're in. Don't want to shove it down too far. Okay, now let's see if we can straighten it up. Well, at least when it's binding like that, it's very easy to, you know, get it nice and straight. And hopefully we can put CA glue on there. Now, I know ideally would be if I could solder it. Now, I'm afraid that the heat will travel along here and maybe melt the plastic. On the other hand, if I was to do it really, really fast, I'm going to think about it for a bit here. Okay, so here's what's happened. I've messed around with this thing for quite a while now. I pulled it out. I tried to get it so that the legs were not sticking down so far beyond the bottom of the platform. And right now it is more or less sitting, you might say, the legs are lined up with the holes, except for maybe this one right here. It's looking straight down on it, you can see that it is not actually in the hole. Whereas the other three, I believe, are just sort of almost exactly where they're supposed to be. So now the plan is I'm going to take my CA. I'm not going to try to solder this. There's just too much plastic close by. So I'm going to take the CA quick setting here and put a drop on and let it flood around. Okay. Now, I don't know if there's enough on this one right here. Well, for sure there is now. All right. Maybe I should take one of Gabe's. Let's try one of Tennessee Jim's mini Q-tips. Okay, very, very carefully here. I think the problem is I've got too much CA. Way too much CA. What was I thinking? Well, I do know that if we could get that blob of CA to... Oh, okay, now where's the curing agent? If we could get that, to cure it like what you see there, that'd be fairly strong. Okay, this is the Instaset. I don't know if that's gonna be. You'll be able to see it happening on camera or not. There should be a bit of a chemical reaction going on there. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to completely cure, and I think it's getting there, if you remember, I was thinking that maybe I had nipped, whoops, or that I had nipped the peg off of the bottom. I don't think I did now that I'm looking at it. I'm I'm thinking maybe I should be sanding that a little bit smoother so that, why can't I hang on to it? Chasing it all over the tablecloth here. Okay, now, yeah, I'm thinking that if I sand the bottom of it a little smoother, it's gonna fit better on this platform. You know what? I think I'm gonna take a bit of a break here. In fact, maybe what I should do is call this episode quits for today, and we'll just continue on a little later. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.